بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام والأتمين الأكملين على المبعوث بحق هداية ورحمة للعالمين وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. All praise is due to Allah. We praise Him, we seek His help and we seek His forgiveness. We seek refuge in Allah from the evil of ourselves and the evil of our actions. Whomever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides, none can misguide. And whomever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala leads astray, none can guide. And I bear witness that there is no God or deity worthy of worship but one, Allah alone. And I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is His slave and His messenger. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, "O you who believe, fear Allah." Fear Allah, the fear He deserves, and only die in state of total submission to Allah and to Allah alone. My brothers and my sisters, do not depart this world without believing in Allah Azza wa Jal and that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is His messenger. I ask Allah Azza wa Jal to teach us what benefits us and to benefit us with what He has taught us and to increase us in Islamic knowledge. I ask Allah Azza wa Jal to bless this series and make it beneficial for us in this world and the hereafter. I ask Allah Azza wa Jal to reward each and every single one of us for attending and to make it heavy in the scales of our good deeds. And finally, I ask Allah Azza wa Jal to protect, safeguard and grant victory to our brothers and sisters in Palestine. Ameen. My brothers and my sisters in Islam, we continue on with the story of Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. This is the 10th part, phase 2. And now last week we discussed the khabar or the news that the women spread in Egypt. And we said that this statement, if you were to look at it without diving into it, it looks like any other news, any other khabar, any other information. When they said that the wife of the minister, she seduced her fata, her boy, which was Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, and قَدْ شَغَفَهَا حُبًّا إِنَّ لَنَرَاهَا فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. Okay, her love became obsessive, and indeed we see her doing a wrongdoing. Now, if we kept on going, as we mentioned last week, if we kept on going, you will not give this verse another thought. It is just news and move on. Let's go to the next verse. But we spent the entire lesson explaining that one verse. Why? Allah Azza wa Jalla said, فَلَمَّا سَمِعَتْ بِمَكْرِهِنْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called their statement as makr. Makr, deceit, evil. What did they want behind it? Was almost 12 or 15 things that they intended behind this. And this explained briefly why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that the women's cunningness or the women's plot and plan is evil and the plot and plan of shaitan is weak. We gave one way, which is the makar qawli, is that they had all this deceit, they had a lot of evil things behind their sayings in order for them to finally see Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. That's why they refer to إِنَّ لَنَرَاهَا فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ, which was an open challenge to a certain degree. O wife of the minister, allow us to see Yusuf alayhi salatu, and you will see that we are better than you and we will not fall for what you have fallen for. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called this makr. That was makr al-qawli, the makr of saying, of words. Today we want to talk about the makr al-fi'li, the deceit, but it's all in action again in the following verse. But before I move on, this is becoming a normalized sin within our Muslim sisters. Wallah, it's destroyed households, it's destroyed businesses, it's destroyed communities, all because of their tongue. Their tongue. Wallahi al-azim, the amount of people or the amount of sisters that spend hours and hours and hours talking about this man and about this woman and causing problems within their marriages is something, not even without a marriage, just general, just speaking ill about others, is become a norm in many of the sisters' lives. It's like as if they don't take this drug of talking about others, they can't live. So they make up drama in their own heads. Wallahi al-azim, it's becoming ridiculous things. I just want to give you a short advice, my sisters. And brothers fall into this, but honestly, when the brothers fall into this, I believe that these brothers, they're not men. Because usually it's only for the sister that do these childish behavior. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ. The humas and the lumas, they are the mockery that in what is apparent, what is open, you can't really tell that they are openly teasing someone. So if I was to tease someone to the face, for example, someone is stinky, yeah? So he's to his face, he's wrong, but he's saying it to his face. It's different to when they say a word, but indirectly it has a different meaning. The same thing what the woman did with Imrat al-Aziz. They say a word, but it has a different intention or different meaning. They have a different objective behind it. And mashallah, how the women are expert in this. So they'll say things, but they mean to burn her, make her cut. And they would say it, for example, they're backbiting indirectly, they'll be talking to one another. There's a third person that they're talking about, but they'll use indirect messages and indirect words talking about that person. And then lumas is opposite. You don't even talk. You don't even utter those words. It's with your actions, indirectly, you are also, subhanallah, gossiping, backbiting, slandering through your actions. How many sisters today, they don't even need to say a word, and wallahi al-azim, that small deed they do, it's like as if they fall into Jahannam, wal-'iyadhu billah. It's the small actions now. So, look at that person. They don't need to say it, I'm just saying it to explain it to you, yeah? Put on weight. It's too skinny. Huh? They don't even say it, I'm just saying with the actions. You know what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said? He says, waylun, woe to you. Sisters, wake up. Woe to you. Ulama say that the word wail is actually a valley in hell. That's your position. That is your place, sister and brother. Those who mock, those who gossip, those who tease with your tongue or with your actions, all the same to Allah Azza wa Jal. He didn't say this is worse than the other. وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ every هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ. The mockery and the deceit and the gossip, whether through your tongue or through your actions. Wallahi azim, sisters and brothers, if you were to do this, uqsum billah, it's like a debt you're going to pay for it. Because you making repentance, you making qiyam al-layl, and you've spoken about someone, wallahi that sin is not forgiven. Why? Because it's not for Allah Azza wa Jalla to forgive. When you take the rights of others, when you tease others, that person needs to forgive you. And if they don't know about it, most of them don't know about it, you're going to be paying back for it. Whether it's in Yawm al-Qiyamah or worse in this world. And it could be not today, it could be tomorrow, it could be 2 years, 5 years, 10 years later. How many people do we wrong in our lives that we've forgotten, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pays us back or hits us back by something that we did 5, 10 years ago. Something that we don't even give it, subhanAllah, significance anymore. So, wallahi, the tongue, please control it. Be careful if you're talking about others, because wallahi al-azim, it will come back and backfire on you one day. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. فَلَمَّا سَمِعَتْ بِمَكْرِهِنَّ أَرْسَلَتْ إِلَيْهِنَّ. We spoke about the makr al-qawli. We spoke about how they did all these cunning things through their tongue, this deceit, makr, with their tongue, the women of the city. Now it's time for Imrat al-Aziz. Now it's time for Zulaikha to do her plotting and planning. And then you're going to say what happened last week is as if it's nothing compared to what she does now and how she prepares to pay them back, to hurt them back. They spread rumors. They spread gossip. Okay, they use their tongue. She's going to do it with her actions. She's going to do it with her actions. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from the evil cunningness of the women and men. فَلَمَّا سَمِعَتْ بِمَكْرِهِنَّ أَرْسَلَتْ إِلَيْهِنَّ مباشرة, straight away. When she heard of their gossip, she invited them. She invited them over. I want to ask you a question. If I get invited by someone that I'm speaking bad about, why would I go there? Besides, we know on the mission and the objective. But a general invite, if someone says, come over, if someone comes up to you and you know he knows that you've been talking smack about him, he goes, come. Are you going to go to him? If the invite was general, come, would you go to him? Nah. Because you never know, he probably got something for you, he's gonna hit you, he's gonna harm you, he's gonna, Allahu alam. So here the ulama, they don't just say, فَلَمَّا سَمِعَتْ بِمَكْرِهِنَّ, oh, they invited them and they just came. Who would come? And let's put ourselves in the same position. I'm talking bad about a person, and he tells me, come over. Who's gonna come over? Especially when you're a chicken, يعني. فَلَمَّا سَمِعَتْ بِمَكْرِهِنَّ أَرْسَلَتْ إِلَيْهِمْ. The ulama say here, no, the invite was different level. It was so remarkable, it was so beautiful, it was so enticing that they forgot the fact that they even spoke about it. Because they came straight away. They came straight away. And there's the other reason behind them, which was an indirect subhanAllah thing they wanted, objective. They wanted to see Yusuf for themselves. But still, putting themselves in danger. No. She arsalat ilayhin. She properly invited them. It was a full, proper invite. And in the invitation, how it was known to the women of the city that this invite is going to be a banquet, it's going to be food, you're going to be sitting with the minister's wife, you're going to be part of that, the popular women of the city. Come on, it's not something simple. It's not something simple, something big. It's like an honor for the women to come in now. فَلَمَّا سَمِعَتْ بِمَكْرِهِنَّ أَرْسَلَتْ إِلَيْهِنَّ وَأَعْتَدَتْ لَهُنَّ مُتَّكَأً. This is the beginning, This is the makr. First she invites them, not a simple invite, very enticing invite. أَعْتَدَتْ لَهُنَّ مُتَّكَأً. Then she prepared the place, the room, with food, flowers, making it look very appealing. وَأَعْتَدْ لَهُنَّ مُتَّكَأً. It was so appealing that when they did arrive, they kicked back. Every one of them was like a king. See, back in the days, to show your arrogance, show your person of status, is that you do not eat sitting straight. You do not eat sitting straight. To show your arrogance, show your someone of status and things like that, they used to sit kicking back, laying back. So here, that's what it means here. وَعَدَدْ لَهُنَّ مُتَّكَأً. Islam, you're not allowed to do this. You sit up straight and you eat like normal. Allah بالعكس, the deen forbids us from such doing. The Prophet ﷺ didn't do so as well, and he actually made it forbidden for this. وَأَعْتَدَتْ لَهُنَّ مُتَّكَأً. She prepared the seating, she prepared the environment, she prepared the room, fragrance, food, flowers. Each one has pillows. Everyone's sitting comfortably, amazing, top of the class. Where was Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam? Yusuf, she called him, she said, I'm sitting in this room. He doesn't know what's happening, doesn't know what's going on, doesn't know if there's women coming, he's got no idea. She is the master of Yusuf alayhi salam, so he didn't really question it. Khalas, he sat down, khalas, I go in. So he sat in a room, closed the door, no problem. Look at the cunningness of Zulaikha. Look at the action she's doing. Look at the detail she's going to go through. So she prepared the food, she prepared everything. Everything's looking good so far. Now they're chatting. And they're talking. They didn't talk about Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. No, they're talking about jinnu things. They were talking about jinnu things. Then the food came out. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَآتَتْ كُلَّ وَاحِدَةٍ مِّنْهُنَّ سِكِّينًا. And she gave them knives. Looks like normal things. Alright. Nah. Look at the cunningness. Why knives? The food that she brought out, all of them needed knives. You can't eat them unless you peel it or you cut it or anything like that. It won't work. It's like, for example, a watermelon. Watermelon, you can't eat it with the green things on it. You got to cut it, for example. I'll give you an example. That food was the same. Some sort of food that you cannot eat it without cutting. This is makr. This is makr fairly. Look at to what level she's thinking. So now she gave each one a knife to cut the food. I ask you a question. We all go to invites and whatnot. Say you've got a platter of fruits and vegetables that you need to cut. They don't give 20 people knives. They put it on the table, they put 3-4 knives, and you cut whatever piece you want, put it back, take a knife. You share the knives. She didn't go, she thought even on a greater level. She gave each one, faddal knife, sharpened properly, faddal knife. Because she's got a plan in the back of her mind. Allah, women are scary, Shaykh. وآتت كل واحدة منهن سكين. She gave each one a knife. Look at the detail. Look at the work. Look at the effort of Zulaikha. Chatting, laughing, smiling. Everyone's having a fruit. طيب, everyone's eating. Everyone's enjoying. Everyone's got the knife in the hand. The fruit is in the hand. She goes, وقالت اخرج عليهم. Come out, Yusuf. Walk through. Walk through. وقالت اخرج عليهن. Forgot this. Okay. You gotta be careful. خبر الدنيا. She goes, وقالت اخرج عليهن. She used a tactic of surprise. If she didn't have evil thoughts or evil intentions, what would she have done? She goes, listen, I'm gonna, because she knows why they're here. They all know. She goes, listen, I'm gonna call him now to come through. Just prepare yourself. Nah. When they sat down, laying down, what did they drop? They dropped their guard. They dropped their guard. They did not expect anything. They dropped the guard. They're sitting back. They're eating. They're gossiping. They're laughing. Over time, they dropped the guard. Because if Zulaikha said to them, listen, I'm going to time to come through now, what would they do naturally, a human being, if something is dangerous? You want to prove, Zulaikha, that you are lower than us. They don't know Yusuf A.S. But in the end, they wanted to prove that we are better than you, O wife of the minister. Isn't that what we've agreed to? So, even if it was difficult, how difficult will it be? How difficult will it be? It won't be very difficult. Okay, he's a nice looking man. Okay, hold the guard. I can't even probably want him and stuff like that. But in the end, I want to prove to her, to Zulaikha, that I'm better than her. As a woman, If she didn't have evil thoughts, that's what she would have done. She didn't. She got them to lay down, lowered the guard. She got them to talk, lowered the guard. She got them to eat, lowered the guard. And all of a sudden, Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam walks into the room. So now I want you to imagine this for a moment. The fruit is in the palm of the hand. The sharp knife is in each and every single woman's hand. And they're cutting it like this. Okay, simple. They're cutting. وَقَالَتِ اخْرُجْ عَلَيْهِنْ. What happened was they started to cut the fruit and the knife kept going down, and they started to cut the hands. Blood's pouring out of the hands. Blood is pouring out of the hands. قَطَّعْنَ أَيْدِيَهُنْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and they cut the hands. طيب. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't mention this in the Quran, I don't think any of us will believe it. Let's be real. I know we're all good looking here, but as much as you walk in, no one's going to cut the hand for you. If this was not mentioned, and some ulama said this, I'm not just saying it from my end. Some ulama said this, that this would have been very difficult to believe if it wasn't mentioned in the Quran. Because this story was all widespread in Medina. They wanted to know what's going on. They wanted to know who cut their hands and cut their hands for what and what, when the Jews were asking, for example. So Allah, I think if it was not mentioned in the Quran, I don't think any of us will believe. But can you imagine that as soon as they saw a man, or Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, their mind, they lost control of their mind and of their thinking. The knife went all the way through the fruit and started to cut their hand. Blood's pouring out of the palm. Now what happens is that the mind stopped working. Your limbs, for the women, were still working. They were cutting and shocked. You know what I mean? It's like, for example, someone has a car accident, bike accident, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. But sometimes, you see these, I don't know if you've seen them in videos or you've heard about it, is that the person is so injured, adrenaline rush, that there's blood everywhere, but he was so shocked at this accident, he doesn't think of the pain. That's why the pain comes later. And it's the same concept on a larger scale. More on a larger scale, subhanAllah. طيب. So that's kind of the way I can maybe relate it to our minds. So the ulama said that the knife or the mind stopped working, and they, subhanallah, the body limbs was working. They lost control of their senses, they lost control of the mind. and they cut. وَقَطَّعْنَ أَيْدِيَهُنَّ. طيب, there's kharafat, yeah? See, why did I say that the fruit is in the palm and then they were cutting? Because there's a lot of people that say that, you know, these marks that we all have in our hands, we all have these marks in our hands? We all have them, yeah? These marks, they say that these are the marks of the women that cut their hand and then we were all inherited. This is called kharafat. This is fake. It's not true. Okay, it's not true, obviously, because there were women before these women, yani. But you hear funny things happening these days. So I'll just give you a yani. So no, these marks didn't come from the women, okay, and the end were men. So how did we? Anyway, it's not true, but just yani, to keep you aware of what people say out there. وَقَطَّعْنَ أَيْدِيَهُنَّ وَقُلْنَ حَاشَ لِلَّهِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran that they said وَقُلْنَ حَاشَ لِلَّهِ. They see this? They see this? This amazing looking man? They've literally blood everywhere. Zulaikha's looking at him, laughing, overwhelmed, happy of what's taken place. Because you guys oppressed me. You guys spoke ill about me. Okay? You guys were challenging me to see that you guys are better than me. وَقُلْنَا حَاشَ لِلَّهِ. حَاشَ لِلَّهِ pretty much means, for example, something great happens, you say, Allahu Akbar. And then you keep on talking. حَاشَ لِلَّهِ means how perfect is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How perfect is the creation of Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay? وَقُلْنَا حَاشَ لِلَّهِ. And even though these people were maybe idol worshippers, they weren't worshippers of Allah Azza wa Jal, they were associating partners, but it was so great that they only remembered the Creator, Allah Azza wa Jal. وَقُلْنَا حَاشَ لِلَّهِ مَا هَذَا بَشَرًا. No way he's a human being. Nah. What? What's this? Look at the beauty of Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. No way he's a human being. وَقُلْنَا حَاشَ لِلَّهِ مَا هَذَا بَشَرًا إِنْ هَذَا إِلَّا مَلَكٌ كَرِيمٌ. That can't be a human being. No way. No way. And we've cut our hands. No way he can be a human being. He is but an angel. Remember the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given the beauty of this entire world since the time of Adam ﷺ to the end of time, half of it for Yusuf ﷺ. The other half, it's shared throughout all the rest of the mankind, men and women. Allah, so imagine. And you got people today dying for fake people on posters. Yeah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. And also, there's something for us, yani. In Jannah, we will have this type of beauty, which is half. But doesn't mean we're all going to look the same, no. Allah alim how it does occur, but we will all be ourselves, but we will have 50% of the beauty, which is like Yusuf A.S.P.10 in Jannah. Okay, so sister, if your husband's ugly now, khalas, forgive him. In Jannah, he'll look beautiful, inshallah. So 50%. Ulama say it's not just the physical appearance, it was the aura that he had. It was prestige. He was just, as soon as they saw him, it was like as if, subhanAllah, an angel walked in. Like as if an angel walked in, subhanAllah. So subhanAllah, it wasn't just the physical appearance. Him, as soon as he walked in, it looked like he was the character, it was the aura that he had. Wa ila akhirihi. And subhanAllah, this is something that even we sense it. Sometimes people walk in, it's like a person that demands respect. Now, I don't know if any of you have been to Umrah or Hajj or anything like that, or overseas as well. Sometimes, man, when you see one of these ulama walking in, you just feel a sense of Allahu Akbar, bro. You feel a sense of aura. Wallahi, you see a sense, or you feel a sense of aura. I remember my shaykh, and we couldn't even, and it was actually disrespectful, in other words. When we were studying, it was disrespectful that when the shaykh is speaking to you, look at him directly in the eyes. Not out there, but he was so much of, he had the aura that you look at him, like you feel embarrassed. Wallahi, I don't know how to explain it, but okay, even the predecessors, they used to, whenever they used to open a book, okay, and they had books, say the pages are massive, it would, how do we open the Masahif today, the Quran? Rubbing out quicker. They would take every page, turn it, not a noise. They didn't want to distract the shaykh. They never wanted to distract the alim, the scholar. That's literally, Just, that's the haiba they had. Okay, that's the haiba, the aura of some of these men. So imagine a Prophet of Allah. Imagine that he receives half of the human being's beauty. So you can imagine what they went for these women. It's not simple. It's not simple. وقلنا حاشا لله ما هذا بشر إن هذا إلا ملك كريم. طيب, have they ever seen an angel? What would they give an example of the beauty of Yusuf ﷺ as an angel? They've never seen an angel. Well, that's fitr. This is the natural instinct of us human beings. It's a natural instinct of us human beings. Whenever you see something beautiful or someone beautiful, especially a young nephew, young niece, your own child, Allahu Akbar, especially in us in the Arab community, they say malak, malak, malak. Like angel, angel, angel. He looks like an angel. She looks like an angel. Okay? Or we say also qamar, amar, 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 like a moon. Doesn't mean that baby looks like a moon. There's distance. But for example, you give that naturally something that's beautiful, you make it look like an angel. And also on the other hand, okay, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, the person has no respect, the person is jumping up and down at school, the person, for example, we call him مثل الأرد. He's like a monkey. Or we say مثل الشيطان, like a devil. He acts like a devil. Okay, so it's part of the, I'm not saying we say these things, but I'm just saying I want you to kind of understand why they mentioned an angel. So subhanallah, that is the concept. It's naturally something that's beautiful, you relate it to an angel. Something that's evil, billah, or disgusting, you relate it back to the devil. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. Even though we didn't see the devil, but we know that he is an ugly looking creature. Subhanallah. قلنا حاشا لله ما هذا بشر إن هذا إلا ملك كريم قالت فذلكن الذي لمتنني فيه. She started to laugh at them. She started to laugh at them. What happened here, and we're going to know through the other verses, is that as soon as they cut their hand, they realized, and they said, قُلْنَا حَاشَ لِلَّهِ, they said, حَاشَ لِلَّهِ, he can't be an angel, he can't be a subhanallah human being, he must be an angel. This is all in front of who? In front of Yusuf A.S. So now the Prophet A.S. is seeing that the women of the city want him. Yeah, not an easy test. There was one, and now all of them want him. It was as if, and what was apparent, that either if they didn't do it then, they're going to do it later, they're going to seduce him. But more likely it happened there. They were sitting down comfortably. Now they're up and about, ready to go. And Zulaikha, what he's doing? You blame me for this. You people cut your hand. You've seen him once in your life, and you've cut your hand. Obviously the cut wasn't fully cut, like chopped off, no. It was a massive cut, deep cut. Some people think they've cut the whole hand, no. It's just a massive cut, a deep cut, okay, but the hand was still intact. So subhanallah, she goes, what are you doing? No. You blamed me. You blamed me, you've accused me of me wanting to introduce Yusuf A.S. Okay, and you've seen him once, and this is what you did. I see him every single day, and you expect me to survive? I see him every day in and out, and you expect me to survive and expect me not to do nothing? أنا راودته عن نفسه. No, I did it. Openly. She admitted her accusation. Yeah, I wanted him. Yeah, I wanted to introduce him. Yeah, I wanted to rape him. خلاص. Openly. In front of the people who are spreading news. People who are spreading news. You're meant to be your best. Show your best character in this moment. No. I am the one that wanted him. She was confident enough now that you guys are also going to struggle too. You guys now want him. خلاص, she's comfortable, she's relaxed. أنا راودته عن نفسي فاستعصم. He rejected me. فاستعصم. He rejected me. Now Yusuf والسلام, is in his position. Now the Zulaikha, she says words that are very dangerous. Very different words to what she said when the Aziz walked in on them. Very different words. Why? How? What did Yusuf والسلام do? How did he get out of this situation? All that and more next week inshallah. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us all. أقول قولي هذا وجزاكم الله خير.